is for you, Dad. Open on Central Park. Langston, Shannon, and Jeff sit on a park bench.
It was crazy. My whole family couldn't believe that my mom was dating Sean Connery. She's having sex with Sir Sean Connery.
That's so amazing.
I know, and when I met him, it was surreal. I mean, this was like literally like 2 years ago. Yeah, so recently.
Do him again. Do Sean Connery.
Okay, all right. So my mom is dating him, and they fly me to his like castle in Scotland to hang out. I meet him, he's like, Langston, it's a pleasure. I'm here to get a fine young man, handsome. I hope you're running ass in New York, getting some tail.
That is amazing. Isn't that amazing, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the story before.
It never gets old.
I have so many stories about him. It's so weird. My mom dated. She's got game like a Bond girl. Right. Like anyway, I mean, my mom would try to be funny and try to say, "Sean gets shaken while I serve." Right. Yeah. Well, listen. You guys should tell a celebrity story. What's your best story? Do an impression.
Mine's lame. I saw Sandy Kenyon, the Taxi movie review guy, in Starbucks in January, and he was like, "I'll take coffee."
That's pretty cool.
And it's no Sean Connery, and your impression is spot on.
You know, Langston, you always tell Sean Connery's story. I've heard it like 10 times, which is fine, and it's an amazing story, but then you end it by asking us to tell a celebrity story. You're like, oh, here's the best one ever, and it's a great impression to boot, but now you guys tell one. There's no way it can compare. It's got your sexy, slutty mom, James Bond, a castle in Ireland. I mean, it's bullshit.
It's Scotland, not Ireland.
Yeah, whatever, same thing. But here, we're with a shitty Sandy Kenyon story. I mean, who gives a fuck, right? But you know what? I have one. I actually have one. I finally got one. I got a celebrity story. It just happened 2 weeks ago, and I've been practicing the impression ever since. I do the best impression ever. Thing is, no one's ever heard the celebrity talk, so you're gonna have to take my word for it. He talks, and I do a dead ringer for him. It's uncanny.
Okay, well, who is it?
Yeah, who is it?
It's Fabio.
Fabio? The guy in the cover of Harlequin romance novels?
The same. If Fabio were here and talking and I did my impression, you'd say, wow, that's identical. Who's talking? Fabio or Fabio?
You're right. It isn't Sean Connery, but that's okay. It's interesting.
Yeah, everyone knows Fabio, so do the story, man. How'd you meet him?
Yeah? Okay. Remember, I went to LA 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so my buddy takes me to a party in LA. It's full of Hollywood people, celebs. Sure enough, Fabio's there. And I had a couple drinks, and I was just kind of angry. And I was like, I'm gonna go meet Fabio and like maybe fight him, you know? You know, like you do, right? Like you get a little drunk, you see a good-looking dude, and you're like, you know, fuck that guy. I'm gonna kick his ass. So I remember a news story that I had seen where Fabio had been on a roller coaster and he'd been hit right in the face by a pigeon. Okay? And what are the chances? It was while the roller coaster was going. Actually, I have the video on my phone.
Okay.
I'll show you. Okay, check it out. Right. So anyway, blood streaming down his face. I mean, you can see he looks miserable. And here's a guy who makes a living off his face. It's like, So I go up to him, and you know, he's a little older now. Roller coaster pigeon was like 15 years ago. So I'm like, hey, Fabio, how you doing? And he's like, and he talks exactly like this. I'm telling you, it's a fact. He talks like, it's like a cross between like Andre the Giant and Mikhail Baryshnikov. Exactly like that, but with like 3 marbles in his mouth. Just like this. Good. It's good. How are you? Just like that.
That's how he talks.
Yeah, think of the best impression you've ever seen. What I just did is better. So I say to him, I'm good. Hey, Fabio, I got a question for you. You remember when you got hit in the face by a pigeon on that roller coaster? And he stops and he kind of raises an eyebrow and he looks at me and he says, and his voice and way of speaking are exactly like, they're like a guy who self-medicates a little with Novocaine, like just a little, but he speaks in an Italian version of like Ronald Reagan. Okay? So keep that in mind, okay? And he says, just like that, he says, I remember that roller coaster. Why would you bring that up? So I'm pissed off, and I go, well, it must have been karma, right, for someone like you to get hit in the face by a pigeon. So what'd you do, Fabio? What'd you do to deserve that bad karma? Come clean. What'd you do?
Well, you were really being a dick.
Yeah, just going for it, right? But you know what he said? He looked at me and he replied, and keep in mind, he's not doing book covers anymore. He's older, but I'm ready to fight him. But anyway, he talks like, he talks like someone who's getting their balls like softly squeezed. But he's taking a hit from a joint, and he'll address the ball situation later. He'll deal with it later. And it sounds like that, but with also like a miniature guy in the back of his mouth on his tongue, like claw dancing. Just a little. That's to a T exactly what it sounds like. Here, let me do it. He says, have you ever lost the luster of your looks and the bloom of your rose? When a flower is no longer a flower, what does it become? Something else. Something else. Scene.
Wow. Fabio.
So, what happened?
I got his number. We became friends. Actual friends. Not like, oh, my mom slept with him and he feels like he needs to be my cool dad, like that guy. No. And get this, Fabio just happens to be in the city right now and I invited him to come hang out with us. And he'll be here any second.
What? Fabio's coming here?
Yeah, he is. Because he's an actual friend.
Should we watch out for pigeons?
Hey, Fabio, you're here. How are you?
Hi, Jeff. I'm well. Hi, Jeff's friends. Good to meet you. I love New York in the spring. The world awakens. A man feels alive. And you'll never believe who I just ran into. You see so many cool people in New York. I just saw Sean Connery. Old man James Bond. Just walking on the street. What an amazing human being.
That's crazy. Langston knows him.
Yeah, it's so funny. My mom used to date him.
Tell me all about it.
I couldn't.
I insist.
Tell